Okay, well, do you want to start by introducing yourself to the podcast? Just who you are.
Okay, and
how long you've been at the church.
Right?
Yeah. You can look at me, look at anywhere. You don't have to look at a camera. I don't really look at the camera.
Guys, I'm getting used to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do.
So my name is Kate Gibson. Why do I want to keep looking at the camera? I've been at the church, so this summer would be, I'm trying to think, 8 years since I've done the internship. So I've been here about 9 years.
Wait, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? So I started going to SUB30 because the Claire Copers were over SUB30 campus at the time. They were my high school teacher. And so I started going to SUB30, started the internship my sophomore year of college, and never left.
Love it.
And so, and then I was on staff I was intern GA on staff for 2.5 years, and now I'm here as a volunteer.
I love it.
So it's been
every Sunday, Wednesday, right? Like there's literally not a time that the stage is.
And that's what's so cool. I feel like after I had stepped off staff, it felt like nothing changed. Obviously, I'm not here day to day, but what's been so special is I feel like I didn't skip a beat, and I think that's just the Lord and His kindness, because this is, when you're on full-time staff in ministry, it really is a lifestyle. But I think it's interesting because even off full-time ministry staff, I don't know why I'm saying it like that, it still is. It's a part of my lifestyle. It's like there's not even a question in my mind if I'm gonna not go to church Wednesday or Sunday. And not even in a religious way of like, I'm never gonna miss. But it's just when I'm not here, I miss it, and I just can't wait to be back. So I love it, and I'm so grateful for just how involved I've been able to be. And this is the first church I've ever been planted in. Is this the first church you've ever been? Or
no, I grew up in the same church my whole entire life.
Okay, because growing up, we went to church, but we never were planted. We were in and out. It definitely was like a check box. And so when I started the internship, that was really the first time I'd ever been planted in a church. And I had no concept of church community. I didn't understand those who are planted in the house of the Lord will flourish. Mm-hmm. And I just never understood that until I understood it,
Yeah.
But how long have you been here now?
For almost 5 years, I think. Yeah, because I started coming the spring of 2021. I started kind of dipping my toe in the water. I was already coming to SUB30, but Coach Bush was really on me. When are you going to get planted? Okay. Shout out Coach Bush.
Me thinking he's over there. I'm like, you're over. I feel like that's so many people's story though.
Oh my gosh.
Of him and that's what's so cool. It's people who have a relationship with him. That he can then be like, hey, get to church.
No, literally.
Well,
and I never been clocked like that in my life. I was barely knew this man, and he's like, when are you gonna buy in?
There was no relationship.
No, there was a little bit, because I was showing up to meetings, but it wasn't what I had where we are now. He is the best person on the planet. I mean, he married me and Reed. We are besties. But
so special.
I literally, in the moment, I was like, who is this man? I remember telling my parents, and they were like, okay, but just be careful. Make sure you want to be there because you want to be there, and all these things, But I was going to another church, and I wanted to be on their creative team and do all that stuff. I was waiting for them to reopen. And it just never happened, and that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because then I bought in, started designing for SUB30. And now I'm on staff here. It's just weird how I don't know. I just always say every decision you make matters, because the Lord is so intentional in that way of just weaving everything into one.
And you have such a gifting for creative. I think
you're so sweet.
You are such a big part of how differing our social media, and you just have brought a creative, a refreshing creativity to all things social media. Truly, Lenzie. And I think it's just special because the Lord uses all of our giftings. And I think we think, you think of the speaking or worship leading or, fill in the blank of what ministry looks like. And it's you reaching people on social media is ministry, and it's a gifting the Lord's using. And that's what I just love. It's there's no limit to what the Lord will use in our giftings to reach people and to spread the gospel. Which sounds cheesy, but it's true. It's He uniquely designed us. And so I love how creative you are. I wish not that I'm not creative, I won't say that, but the way that you can do graphic, let me tell you right now, when I was on staff, I tried to run the worship Instagram.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know there was one.
Let me tell you right now, that should have been nixed from the beginning. For some reason, they said, Kate, give it a try. Me on Canva, trying to design these worship, edit, no.
No, it's
Finally,
hard.
I think it was Frankie. I said, Frankie, this is not good. This is not my gifting. This is not it. And so we completely deleted the Instagram.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I've never seen it.
So that's why I was the one who, it was so bad. We said we can't even delete the post. Let's just deactivate.
No archiving at all. Yeah.
But that's why I appreciate it so much, because I'm like, I just am not creative in that way.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're killing it.
Well, I couldn't do it with all these people in here too, literally Nate behind the camera. But it's so cool because we all learn so much from each other.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm literally the only designer on site.
Yeah.
But even them, they're the video production guys, but they tell me stuff all the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know, So it's cool, working on staff, because you are so close-knit. I feel like it's different than other places in that way, and a different degree.
Yeah.
It's more personal. And so, anyways, it's just so fun. But I loved that you're still around. I remember when I was coming into staff, you were leaving.
Yeah.
I remember Anne had started a little bit before. No. She maybe started a few months before me, and you were leaving, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. I'm so sad, because I didn't know you super well at that time, but I was like, oh my gosh, you're so fun. But what has that transition been like for you, stepping into something else? I know you're
so much. I think stepping off staff was one of the hardest things I'd ever had to do. And it was something that to make it short, we're joking about how I could share 30 hours and it could have been a sentence, but really it was I heard the voice of the Lord. It made no sense, but I had such peace. And so, to be honest, I delayed that decision for a month because I was just like, Lord, are you sure? And it was confirmation after confirmation. And because it's that feeling of, Lord, I feel like I'm just getting started here. And so transitioned off for 2 months, didn't have a job. And that, changed my life. Oh my gosh, I can't even, there's not even words to describe making a decision because the Lord told you to and not knowing a next step.
Yeah.
God was so faithful, covered us financially, all the things. It was just mind-blowing, and I will remember forever of God's faithfulness. And then, funny enough, when I felt that release to start looking for a job, because I thought I was going to go back into full-time ministry.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't, that was my outcome. Yeah. That's the Kate outcome that she wanted. And so I'll never forget, I felt this release, or Brody had asked me one night, he's like, do you feel like that maybe it's time to start looking for a job? And it was in that instant, I felt that release to start looking. And one night I'm praying and the Lord gave me a name. And I was like, I feel like I've heard this name, whatever.
Yeah.
And long story short, I end up meeting with those people and thinking maybe this is a connection, maybe they have a ministry connection, and meet with them. They worked in wealth management, were pastors for 20 years. And anyway, at the end of meeting with them, they offered me a job. And I left sobbing because I was like, finance,
really?
Lord. But I knew that's what God had for me. And so it's been 2.5 years of working there. I thought I'd be there for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it has changed my life. It's so hard to put into words without going on a 30-hour rant, as I've said that I can do. But it has brought out every gross thing in my heart. Yeah. Every gross thing in my heart, and challenged me. And the Lord has just been so kind of over these 2.5 years in a place where, first of all, it's uncomfortable. I'm learning something new. It's not necessarily my passion or my skill set, but the uncomfortability of learning, working in a dynamic that is so different, with different people, different clientele. We have so many clients in California with different worldviews and, fill in the blank. But it's just been I feel like it's been a hidden place of the Lord's protection to just really work out things in my heart and bring me closer to Him and make me more like Jesus. Not to be that cheesy person, but that's the point.
No, yeah,
and
for sure.
I think I had to surrender my position on staff I think that was a big part of, even with what we're talking about tomorrow at SUB30, the Frontline series, that was a huge part of this willingness to surrender and say, God, I give you my yes to do a work in my life, and I trust you. You know, my life is yours. My life is not, like, I'm not here, I'm here to serve you and submit to you, and that has to come before anything else. And I had definitely made ministry an idol in my life. Not even, it's interesting because I feel like people make worship leading such an idol in their life, you know, because it's what they do. But for me, it was more, I had made ministry, Kate, an idol in my life. Like, I thought, not knowing, like, this, I took on, like, ministry is my identity. So when I wasn't in it, I was like, do people, like, still value me? Do people... And that was very humbling because it's like, Lord, forgive me. This is not about, yes, it's ministry is about people, but first it's like, I have to know my identities in Christ. Because I think you get things so out of line when you're in that. So anyway, long story short, but it has been so hard, but it has been the closest, see, I'm already getting emo, the closest I've ever been to the Lord. And hearing his voice, and that is worth it to me. You know, I would give up time and time again whatever the Lord asked to be this close and be this surrendered. And I think that's how we're called to live our life, is this constant surrender. And it's not easy, it's not comfortable, it's sometimes not the outcome that we want, but it's always better. So it has been so hard but good, and I feel like that's life. You know, no matter what season we're in, of pruning, or if it's like, man, I feel like I'm just kind of in a restful season, whatever it is, there's always an element of uncomfortability the Lord's like grinding out in us, and it can be both. It's like, man, this is so hard, Lord, oh my gosh. But it's so good because you're so faithful.
No, it's so true.
And you're making me more like Jesus, and that's the point. You know?
It's so crazy. I always say that, like, the hardest years of my life were the best years of my life. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when my parents got divorced, hardest year of my life. Best year of my life. Like, I've never changed so much. Like, it was insane. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy when you look back, like, how the Lord works in that way. It's just crazy. Do you feel like that you stepping out and, like, going to another position, being obedient, has changed the way that you lead worship? Because I feel like here, y'all are very, like, I don't even know how to say it. Y'all... The way that you and Pastor Opeta, preach, but talk about worship and just how sacred, like, the stage is and who y'all let on. Like, I just feel like it's very protected. Like, you know, Pastor Bill always says y'all comb through, like, all the lyrics, like, to make sure that there's no, like, because it's what we're singing, it's what we're declaring, whatever. I just feel like y'all are very protective of it, and that's, like, something I've never seen, but I love it. Like, it's completely changed the way that I view worship. And, like, even listening in my car, I'm like, okay, Lord, what am I singing? Like, all these, you know what I'm saying? But just in that way, do you feel like it's changed at all? Or the way that you viewed it even? Like, in any way?
That's a good question. I think as I've just... I don't think it's changed being off staff, but I do think as I've matured... it has changed my view. I think this surrender, this revelation of surrender, and that is, as disciples, what we're called to. I think viewing everything through a lens of surrender has changed the way I view worship, in the sense of it makes it even more sacred, in the sense of when I am leading, whether I'm worshiping at home by myself or I'm leading, it's this understanding of a contrite heart of, Lord, like, I am broken before you. Here I am. Like, my life is to sing your praises, give you glory. Like, this is everything. This is who I am. This is how you've designed me. And so I think it's given me more revelation of that within worship leading, because in my heart and in my life as I've walked out, just new revelation of surrender. Does that make sense? So I think I just have had deeper understanding the last couple of years of what surrender looks like, and what the Lord asks of us in that way. But I think just as I have learned to surrender and surrender more, and embrace weakness, knowing that the Lord can use that weak and brokenness, or weakness and brokenness, and give us strength through that. I think that surrender has given me honestly, it's activated the authority that God's given me even more.
Yeah.
I think I understand it more. And just a boldness. I think surrender will always lead us to a boldness, because when we're in a place of, God, use me how you want.
Yeah.
My answer is yes, here I am, Lord. I think we're more willing to step out because we're in a place of surrender. Like, my way is not in the picture. Lord, what do you want? And so I think it's given me a boldness and just a deeper understanding of surrender. And honestly, I think it makes me even more excited and encouraged, and even desire for people coming in to have that understanding as well. We're not just coming in here because this is what you do at church and we worship. We're coming in here and like and most times it's a sacrifice of praise. Lord, I don't feel like it, but because you are so worthy, I am going to praise you until I feel like it, And so I think I just have such a passion for people understanding the power of worship, that it's a weapon, that we are literally pulling a heavenly reality down. We are seated with Christ in heavenly places. And I think we have the access to bring heaven down and live in a heavenly reality. I think worship's a big part of that. And so I just am so passionate about worship, and whether that's singing or even worship at home, worshiping unto the Lord and what you do, your job, that has been the most humbling thing. I think I've had revelation in that of, God, what does it look like to worship you when I'm doing something that I'm maybe not passionate about or don't necessarily love? What does that look like? Because that's what we're called to. Worship isn't based off of, I feel like it today. It's like, no, it's based off his worthiness.
Yes,
God,
absolutely.
you're worthy. And so no matter what, I'm going to worship my way through today. I'm going to worship my way through the circumstance. And I think when we worship, even say it like if you're in a trial or a hard circumstance or situation, when we worship through it, we are pulling heavenly reality down into that circumstance, and it allows us to live above the circumstance. So I could go on, but I think to bring it all back, I don't think that being off staff has like changed anything. I think I've just changed. The Lord has just changed me. And if anything, I will say Opetza is just the way that he has still included me and embraced me, even with my role looking different. I think that has given me just an excitement and just honestly an honor to be a part of like, wow, okay, Lord, I don't need this title to still be a part of this. And so that's something I love about Opetza, is that he's very inclusive and wants to empower people, which is why he is where he is today, which is why the Lord has promoted him where he is, because he brings that out of people, and he's brought that out of me. It was amazing working with him, and he's like family to me. So it's been a really special couple years, and it kind of, like I said, it just feels like I'm not skipped a beat. And God is so faithful, because that's scary when you're like, I'm leaving this position that I love. I loved my job. I loved working here. And it's been cool to see the Lord that still be a big part of my life. It just looks a little different, which is okay and good. So,
Do you feel like, did you ever expect to like be doing this? Like not being raised in church and stuff? Like when you started the internship, were you like, I'm going to lead worship? Like,
no.
I'm going to be a worship Kate? Like, no.
It's funny because I've always loved worship. And so it definitely has always been something I'm passionate about. I feel like I connect with the Lord most in worship, like in song, which sounds so cheesy. Don't cut that out. In song. But I think back, I was telling someone this the other day that I will never forget my freshman year at ORU. Bethel came to lead worship, and I'm standing in the front and worshiping, and I felt the Holy Spirit say, like, you're going to be doing this one day.
Wow.
And I remember being like, what? No. Because it's something you can't even imagine. And anyway, so fast forward a year later, I start the internship, and I didn't start doing worship, I think, until like that. It wasn't my track until my second 6 months. Don't quote me on that. I'm concerned I can't remember that. But I think I thought it was just something like I I was meeting a need in the sense of like, this isn't maybe something that I'm going to continue to do. I can kind of sing and I'm meeting a need and it's something I'm passionate about. But I never expected it to become such a big part of my life. It was in the beginning, I was so insecure. Every time I would get off stage, even if I was not like leading a song, I would feel like I'm going to throw up. I'm like, God, I never want to do this again. I will quit this internship if they make me do this again, because it was it felt so vulnerable. And I had no understanding of what leading worship meant, and so I think that's been kind of a theme in my life of the Lord calling me out in very uncomfortable situations and things that speaking, for example, things that are so beyond uncomfortable, and him just meeting me in it. And it's broken off a lot of fear of man in my life. It has reminded me time and time again how much I have to rely on the Lord. Like I can't do this in my strength, and not being scared of weakness, not being scared of almost delighting in that. And I go back to that contrite heart of a heart that is that is willing to surrender and submit and understands like the most beautiful thing I can do is come before the Lord broken, knowing that he's going to make me strong and that my weakness doesn't limit me. Like he can work through that to glorify him. And eventually maybe that weakness won't be a weakness anymore as he develops it, but not being afraid of that and embracing it. And I think that's kind of been what God has done in my life since the internship. I think that's just our walk with Jesus, becoming more like Jesus. Like we're embracing uncomfortable. And anyway, but it has been, I love it. I'm so passionate about it. I am beyond honored I get to do it. It's just funny because you're always growing in it. And I think still working through insecurity, still working through, I guess it's been 8 years since the internship, but I would really say since maybe COVID, really like leading and really understanding what leading worship is and kind of stepping into that. I still deal with a lot of the things I used to, and I'm more mature now, spiritually mature to where I know to immediately give it to the Lord. But it's been interesting because I think I still kind of work through insecurity. I still work through those moments of like, Lord, there has to be better people than me.
You are crazy that
but
you
in
think
the
that.
sense of like
it's just insane. Like I have to give you your props because you are incredible. There's not a time that you open your mouth and sing that the Holy Spirit is not present. Like that is who you are.
Thank you.
You seriously like lift the room. Like it's honestly the craziest thing to watch. It's insane. Like I have to give you props, and I know you're gonna say it's the Holy Spirit, and I know it's the Holy Spirit because every time I'm like, you did amazing. You're like, it's the Holy Spirit, and that is one thing about you. You will give credit where credit is due. Because
it is not, you know, and it's but you feel like that cringy worship leader that it's like, oh God, But I'm like, no, you guys don't understand. Like this, it makes no sense to me logically. And I just, it's the Lord. And yes, it took my obedience. Yes, it took my yes to the Lord. Yes, it took me to embrace this weakness, this uncomfortability. But I think that's what's so beautiful is when the Lord calls us to something, all he needs is our yes and a willingness of like, okay, Lord, mold me, shape me, do what you need to do. And I think, even going back to the front line, like that's what it takes to stand on the front line of like, Lord, here's all you need is my yes and my obedience and my surrender. And you're going to show me, you're going to lead the way. And so it just really, it's been a journey. It has been a journey and I'm still on it. And it's just been amazing to, especially just our team, learning from everyone. Everyone has such unique gifting and it's just been really, really humbling, really special. And I just love worshiping in this house with the people. It's crazy. I still sometimes I'm like, I can't believe I get to do this. Like, I can't believe, Lord, I've loved worship my whole life. And I just never thought that I would get to lead people into it. So it's just special. It never gets old. It's never like, oh, another. I'm like, no, I can't wait, so.
Well, that's how we feel going to it. Like Guts worship is the best worship. It's
I'm so glad.
Incredible. Y'all do an amazing job. And I feel like just seeing the fruit of your life too, like just I know like we've obviously talked about like where you come from and the difference that you've made in your own home, like with your own family. Like that is the cool part about guts is like I feel like the testimonies are so strong.
Yeah.
Like you just see the transformation in people's lives and also in their families. Like it's just crazy that like, you know, it's so cool to see that, I don't know, just the way that the Lord takes care of every single thing. And it's like your like to worship and being obedient in that area and getting uncomfortable. Now your sister's here.
Yeah.
I'm friends with your sister. She's the best. But like, you know, it's just cool how you can see just the Lord's faithfulness in like every single area.
Yes.
You know?
It is crazy, and just how faithful he is. And I think even with every yes we give the Lord, he never wastes anything. Yeah. And I think that's what's so amazing is sometimes giving him our yes in a season from 2 years ago, we start seeing fruit maybe 2 years later. And I think sometimes we think like we should never give the Lord our yes because we want something from it. But I think what is so amazing about the Lord is that when I give him my yes, I know it's going to result in transformation in my life, but I also know because he's that good, the fruit and the transformation spreads because his word's alive and active. And I believe that, I mean, we're vessels. And so I think it's been amazing to see in my sister's life, you know, both of us obviously not raised, yes, we were raised in a Christian home, but not in church, did not really know the word, did not really know what healthy marriage looked like or healthy family dynamics until I got here, and I know my sister the same. But it's just been amazing to see what God's done in her life, and that's something I've prayed for years. And so looking back and just being like, man, Lord, you have used every season of my life as a testimony for her to see your goodness and your faithfulness, and that it does not matter where you come from. It doesn't matter how you were raised. The Lord will restore and redeem anything. And so I think that's what's so amazing about the life we get to live as disciples and people who truly exude who Jesus is because it is attractive, and people are attracted to that peace. And so, and it's not us, like we're saying, it's not us. You know, it takes our yes, but it's the Lord. And so I think there were seasons where even not only my sister, but just in general, you kind of feel like maybe you have to strive a little bit or prove, like I have to prove the gospel. And it's like, there's moments for that, but I think our life is the testimony.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I don't have to strive or force things. The Lord's timing is so perfect. He's so faithful. He doesn't waste anything. And so now seeing my sister planted here and what God's done in her life, she's in full-time ministry. You know, it's just so...
Yeah, that is so crazy.
It is wild.
That
and God is so faithful. And so, and I'm seeing that in my family. God continue to redeem and restore. And I'm telling you, I think back to my internship year, and that was such a prayer, like, God, you're going to use this year, and there's going to be fruit in my family's life. And I'm telling you, 8 years later, I'm still seeing that. And so, God is so, so faithful. So faithful.
It's so good.
And now your family's moving here.
I know,
like,
my family's moving here. I know, it really is crazy. It really is crazy, I know. That's like, which it's cool because I remember Sierra one time when we did the Promised Land series, I think, or the wilderness, and then it went into the Promised Land. She said you could be in a wilderness and in a Promised Land at the same time. And I was like, wow, that's really good because, you know, like you're obviously like, I don't know, it just like snapped something in me that I'm like, okay, two things can be true at the same time. Like God is good all the time, even in the hard things, and you are reaping the fruit of other things in a season where it's hard. And like, that's how kind of how I feel about my family is like, I can look back and I remember like coming to ORU, deciding to come to ORU. I think I've told you that story, but I was like really rebelling against my parents. It was not a good situation. And I was sitting in the chair at my dad's house. And I remember my mom was big and pregnant with my brother, like literally about to pop. Like, God bless her for dealing with me, her oldest, who's like, I'm not a rebellious kid. Okay. Here I go going on a rant, but that was not me. And anyways, I was telling her, no, I'm not going to ORU. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And then I remember God telling me like, if you go, I'll bless every area of your life. And at the time, I was like, Lord, that's amazing. Like, me and my boyfriend at the time were going to stay together. Like, my business is going to...
I want will happen.
Literally, I remember sitting in that seat and, like, thinking to myself, okay, amazing. Like, I will do this. But, like, you have to get me and him through college and make, like, we have to end up married. And, like, just thinking of all these things. And none of it is how I thought it was going to look.
But
none
it's
of
better.
It. But it's way better. Like, it's just, it's so crazy, again, how your like, is all the Lord needs.
But it's interesting because I think people are so scared of what the aftermath of a yes, because it's like that, and that's our fleshly desire of like, I want things to go how I think they should.
Yes.
And I think that's what's so amazing is like, when we give the Lord our yes, we are also surrendering our wants.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he doesn't give us the desires of our heart.
Absolutely.
It just sometimes looks different and it's always better. And I think about even just the season I'm in where it's like, wow, Lord, my life, 26 years old, I thought I would be in my career, you know, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not what I thought my life would look like, but it is better.
Yeah.
It is so much better than I could have ever imagined because you're faithful. And it's better because I know I am on the journey with you.
Yeah.
And I'm following your way. And that will always be better than anything I think should be how it looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy because now it's like, look at your life, what God's done. You're married to an amazing man of God, you know, what he's done in your life and your family's life, moving here. It's just, it's like, wow, Lord, wow,
no,
thank you.
You really like never thought. And it's cool because if you would have told me like years ago that this would be the time they would be moving, I would have said you're lying.
Yeah.
Like I literally have been like, there's absolutely no way.
Yes.
Like my brother's going into his junior year. Like it's just, there's no it doesn't make sense. You know, but I remember like last spring feeling a shift in my family and I had no clue what that was like, what that was going to look like. I was like, okay, there's a spiritual shift happening. And I remember telling my mom, we were like in the car and she was just like, we were just having like a little heart to heart. And she was like feeling a little discouraged. And I was telling her, I was like, Mom, there's like a shift happening. And I like don't know what it looks like, but things are changing and like, I don't know what's going on, but like things are never going to be the same after this. And now they're moving here and things still are not where I want them to be.
Yes.
But that's like a little bit what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. It's just like, I don't know. It's just what I've learned is that the authority that you carry changes outcomes.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's so crazy. Like Reed, I've said this before, but my family coming up here, he's like, you know, I want to protect our home and I want this to be a place of peace. And like, you know, I know like certain situations are hard for you and I don't want that to be brought into our home and that affect us. And I told him, I'm like, I do not look at it that way. I look at it as like we walk into the room and things change. Like we go to my mom's house, whoever, like wherever with my family, things change. My siblings come here, things break off. They see a healthy marriage. Like flip it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not, I'm not scared of the way and the situation of what things are. Like I was made for this time. I carry the authority in this situation and things are going to continue to change. Like the only thing I've said in this season is like the Lord is faithful to complete what he started. Like,
he is.
1,000%. And it's not over. So then, you know, like he's still got a while to go, but I'm like, it's going to be amazing. So when Cole told us, he was like, do you want to speak on the front line? I'm like, yeah, amazing. That's literally what I've been going through for 6 years.
Isn't that amazing when it's like you get to speak on something that is your testimony and you're living out? And it's like, man, and it's obviously you've had so much revelation and boundaries and walking that out and being discerning with family things, but it's like you're still learning. And I think that is what's so cool is we're not disqualified. We're never going to reach the end of something. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, I've conquered this. I'm awesome. I know everything. But being able to share in that vulnerability of like, I've had a lot of revelation in this, but now I'm in a new season in this same thing. And like, I'm walking out what this looks like with the Lord. And so I think, I mean, I can really relate with family dynamics and discernment of, Lord, what should boundaries look like? Because someone said this to me, that boundaries are not to cause division. They're to help steward the relationship and create a healthier relationship. And I think that's amazing to say it that way. And so just discernment of, okay, what does that look like? What do the boundaries look like with my family dynamic, or even when conversations need to be had, Lord, give me the words. What does this look like? But I think the amazing thing about the authority that we have, exactly what you're saying, is I don't have to be scared that I'm not going to know what to say, that I'm not going to, that the Lord's not going to give me discernment in moments, that the Holy Spirit's not going to meet me in moments. And I think that's what's amazing is we can take authority. And we can trust that, like you're saying, when we walk into a place, no matter what the dynamic is, choking on my cinnamon dolce latte, okay, that I have authority and that the Lord is moving on my behalf as I declare his word. And it takes fear out of it. And not that there's not human responses of like, man, this sucks that this is the situation or whatever it is, but it's like, Lord, I know you will restore and redeem this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thank you that you're giving me the steps each step of the way as new seasons, as people are closer, you know, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
I'm really excied for you and your family.
Thank you.
What a crazy testimony.
I know, it's going to be so good. I can't wait till I'm on the other side of it.
Yes.
I'm like, because there's a vision in my head, like, I'm so much like that, okay? I don't want to say that I've never had moments of doubt, but I kind of, like, really haven't with this certain situation.
That's amazing.
Like, in other parts of my life. But this, I'm like, this is a huge deal to me. You know, like, I really cannot let... And I think part of that is because I'm the oldest. So, like, I have to be, like, I feel like I have to set the tone, especially with my siblings, like, you know. And I don't know, I just feel like the Lord has changed the way that I view these situations. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's completely shifted of, like, this is not going to be the way.
It's always been.
It's always been, and the enemy is not going to win this situation. And I'm attached to this. So that means that I'm winning this situation. Like, the Lord is attached to this situation, and So anyways, it's just cool how that works, because I think sometimes you can feel defeated and alone, and like, it's just like, okay, I'm really out here just fighting for my life.
Yeah, it's like, is anything, Lord, is there any movement? Is there, you know, and I think what's so cool is when we don't necessarily see things in the physical manifesting, I know that the Lord and the Spirit is working on our behalf, working things for our good. And so, and I think that's faith. I think Bush even said it this way, having an end in mind.
Like, faith begins with an end in mind.
Yes, and Lord, I trust you. And I know that even though it doesn't look the way that, you know, I've been declaring it or whatever, fill in the blank, I know that you're working this out. And I may not see it, but that does not mean that in the Spirit, you are not waging war on my behalf, fighting battles on my behalf. And I just trusting him when it's like, okay, it doesn't look like it, but that I'm not letting what it looks like defeat me or deter me in keep continuing to take a stand, you know?
Yeah, that's so crazy that you said that, because literally, hold on, let me tell you. When Bush said that, the first time I'd ever heard that was in SUB30. That was September, hold on. We
have receipts.
And we do, because, okay, so this, for the people, this is my, like, church note. It goes way down. But I started it in September. Oh, this was August. Oh, no. That's last time. Yeah. September 19th, 2021. That was in the height of my parents getting divorced. Like, they were, like, finalizing everything.
Wow.
And he wrote that down. I mean, he said that. And I wrote it down, and I was like, faith begins with an end in mind. And that's how I'm going to live my life. And seriously, I cling to that like nobody's business.
Thank you, Lord.
Because, it's just so powerful. Like, that is the most encouraging thing ever. You know? Like, faith begins with an end in mind.
And the in-between, because I think doubt creeps in the in-between of when you're in a faith battle, whatever that looks like, when the outcome isn't as quick as you thought, or the outcome even isn't what you wanted it or thought it should look like. I think it's that reminder of, okay, God, you're faithful. I trust you. Like, you're the healer. You're the redeemer. You're the restorer. And so I know the end is not here yet, because the end in mind is knowing you are going to be faithful. You're going to completely restore, completely redeem. And so trusting him in the in-between, I think, builds our faith and also builds our testimony and relationship with him of like, okay, Lord, this is hard. I don't understand why this is still what it is. You know, fill in the blank, whatever that looks like. But I trust you. I know you're good. I know you're faithful. And I know the end in mind is what your word says. So I'm going to keep standing. When you've done everything to stand, keep standing. And I think that is that's something that Brody and I have been walking through this summer of, okay, Lord, what does faith really look like? You know, because I think we can either steer on the side of striving and begging and feeling like, I gotta be faithful, I gotta stay in faith, I gotta stay in faith. And it's like, no, the Lord did not design us to operate that way. Faith is trust. That I can sit back in moments of resting and knowing, God, you're faithful. Yes, it requires actions at times. And a lot of times the action is like renewing your mind and stewarding your thought life, but trusting, okay, Lord, we're believing for this outcome. Okay, what happens when the outcome doesn't look like what you thought? Okay, God, I thank you that in this outcome, you are working it out for our good. And I can trust you and stand confidently knowing that this isn't the end yet. This is still the in-between. And not limiting and putting God in a box of this is what this should look like in this faith walk or this faith journey. Because our life is a journey. It's a pilgrimage. I told you that's been my whole rant. The Lord really speaks to me in words. And so like I've really been on journey, and I go obsessive mode. I go Hebrew mode. I go all the modes. And just trusting him on this journey. And I always think back to John, I think it's 14:26. Don't quote me. I know it's John 14, but when Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. Okay, he's the way, obviously the way to the Father. He's our intercessor. From us to the Father, but okay, he's the way, he's the direction I go. Every time I follow him, it's going to lead to truth. He's always going to lead me to the word, and every time it's going to bring life. So it's like, okay, Lord, I'm following you. And this journey of faith, this pilgrimage, and a lot of times in the Old Testament, the pilgrimage in their journey was to a place, like to a promised land. There's a specific place, where now a lot of it is like a spiritual journey, you know? And so I think that's what Brody and I have been walking through of, what does faith really look like? Lord, how have you have designed me to operate in a place of faith. You've designed me to call down a heavenly reality into my life. So what does that look like when you're in the in-between and it feels like nothing's going your way? It looks like nothing's going your way. Standing in that place of victory, even when the outcome may not be victorious yet. Do you know what I'm saying? And so it's just been a journey. I get obsessive on words. It's like kind of annoying, and I'll say it 1,000 times, and then I'll have another word, and then I'll be on that. I love that the Lord speaks to me in that way. But I think faith is trust. It's simple, and it's not done out of striving and begging, and it's not faith is not a constant thought of, am I in doubt? Is it not going to work out because I'm in doubt? And it's like, it's different when you don't believe God can do something, whereas God, I know you can, but I don't know how it's, like, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I know you can and you will. And so, just really working through revelation of faith, because you can be trained in take a stand of faith, but when you don't have revelation in something, it's not personal. And so then you're like, what does this actually look like? So I think that's been something Brody and I have walked through this summer of, God, this outcome is not what I wanted or what I thought it should be, but you're good and you're faithful and I trust you. And I know the end will be, like we said, you will completely heal, you will completely restore, you will completely redeem. And I can be confident in that, and I can rest in that, and I don't have to freak out and worry this whole way through this faith journey. You know, because I think we can do that. We can spend so much time worrying and freaking out when the Lord's like, let me do something in your heart during this time. I'm faithful. Let me work things out in your heart. Let me show you more of who I am in this journey until you reach this end point of maybe you're in a circumstance, you're believing for something, whatever. But I think it's hard because I think we spend a lot of time worrying and freaking out that we're not in faith when really we're able to rest because we trust him, and that's our faith. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I just spoke algebra.
No. No, I totally know what you're saying. And I feel like there's a difference of, I don't know, I feel like recently what I've personally been walking through is realizing, like, I don't know, like, I'm tired and I'm not resting. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not relying on the Lord. Like, I'm, like, checking out. Does that make sense? And, like, me and Reed went to Bush and Rachel's house a few weeks ago, and he told me, he was like, Lenzie, you're getting tired. I can see it. And, like, no. And I was like, okay. And I didn't even realize. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even realize. And it kind of woke something up in me. Like, it lit this fire to where I'm like, okay, like, I cannot, if I'm tired, then that means I'm not fully reliant on the Lord. If I'm growing weary in this situation, I can speak the truth and I can speak the word all that I want, but I'm not filling myself up. I'm pouring from an empty cup. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just changed the way that I've honestly approached the word. Like, even just reading the word, like, I feel like it's cool because I feel like the word, and we've talked about this before, like you spoke about the word at spring training, and I came up to you after and told you that it's something I just struggle with, like not necessarily getting up and reading my Bible. That is one thing, that's a whole nother thing, but okay, Lord, like, how do I approach this and gleaning from it? Like, what am I getting from it? How am I, like, digging deep? And like, it's completely those words of, like, you're tired and you can't be, of, like, and that revelation that I got completely changed the way that I viewed it. And now I'm like, okay, amazing. Like, and I'm, like, hungry. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm, like, ready to, like, wake up. And look at words in Hebrew and like those kind of things. I'm like, okay, Lord, how do I do this? Because I feel like I'm like kind of starting from ground zero in the way that I approach with this new revelation.
Amazing, though. And something that I love, and I think the more we're in the Word, the more obviously we know the Word and we know the Lord and His character and His heart. And the more that we're in the Word, the more sensitive we are to the Holy Spirit. Because the Holy Spirit brings to our remembrance. And so I think something that's so amazing is the more we're in the Word, the more we learn how the Lord communicates to us. And that's what's so amazing about our unique relationship with the Lord is that, yes, the Lord communicates with me through words. Like, I love just a word. I obsess over it. It's like the mystery of, God, your word's alive and active. So I know this word is all throughout your word.
That's so cool. Yeah.
All throughout your word. So I think it's encouraging to know, okay, Lord, how do you communicate with me? You know, because you're so creative. I'm interested, like, as you... And I'm sure maybe you've already learned, like, okay, Lord, how do you communicate with me? Yeah. Whether that's through imagery. I think you've said that. Like, there's an imagery aspect of it. So maybe it looks like you reading something and the Lord giving you an image to draw out. I don't know if you draw. I don't know if that's weird. But I'm just thinking that's what's so cool about our unique relationship with the Lord is He wants to communicate. And the more we're in His Word, He's going to communicate with us in a special way because He knit us in our mother's womb. He knows how I best am communicated to. He knows how Lenzie's best communicated to. And I think that's what makes this personal is no matter, you know, who we are, what that looks like, we all have the same revelation, but in the sense of Kate's version, Lenzie's version. Yes, it's still the same, but it's because the Lord loves us and wants relationship and wants to show us unique things that hit Kate or hit Lenzie in different ways because of how He designed us, you know? Yeah. So.
That's so good. I love it. You're so knowledgeable. I just love it.
Oh, Lord.
But I wanted to talk about, I have your text pulled up because obviously we were texting about what we were going to talk about. And I asked what was on your heart. And pilgrimage was like, like I had never heard someone use that word in the sense of like the word.
It feels random.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I kind of wanted you to talk about that a little bit of just kind of what the Lord is doing in this season in you. I know you kind of briefly just like touched on it, but a little bit more in depth of like what that looks like for you right now.
Yes. So it's funny because when I was talking to Brody, when the Lord first kind of was stirring this, I had said like pilgrimage and he was like, like the pilgrim, you know, and I'm like, I know it's a different word.
I immediately picture bonnet.
Yeah, like, no. You're like, wait, what? So really it started with like the Lord kind of speaking to me about journey. Yeah. And then the Lord kind of led me to, well, I guess it started in John 14, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. And way actually in Hebrew, there's so many multiple definitions, but it talks about like being a way of thinking, a direction. And then there's a verse in Psalm 84 that talks about pilgrimage, which I wish I had my phone. It's Psalm, can my friend read it? It's a New King James Version, Psalm 84:5. But it talks about pilgrimage. And I think in the Hebrew, I use Blue Letter Bible for a lot of like Hebrew and just deeper dives into words. Okay. But journey also means pilgrimage. Like for example, the Israelites were on this pilgrimage, this faith journey to the promised land kind of thing. So anyway, that when I think of pilgrimage, I think of faith journey. And I think of which you can really just journey. Pilgrimage just, I feel like is more, sounds artistic. Yeah. And it's interesting because a new worship song had come out that I love. It's called Consider Him. And it talks about running this race and not growing weary, that this is a pilgrimage. Yeah. This is a journey with the Lord. We don't have to run through and strive and, you know, kind of like I worry and freak out when we're in an in-between or we're on because life is a journey with the Lord, but there's sometimes specific ones in each season. Do you have the 80? Yes. The idea of that on the journey, the Lord is strengthening this faith journey that we're on. Yeah. And so pilgrimage is just another word for journey. I know it can be kind of like, what? But when I had heard that song, I was like, wow. To me, pilgrimage, and not that, to be honest, I don't know much about pilgrims. I'm guessing that's where that comes from. I need to do more research. Like I said, this is kind of a fresh revelation that I've had and that I've been walking out with the Lord. But even thinking about in the Old Testament, I think about Abraham, I think about Joseph, I think about the Israelites to the promised land, this journey that the Lord called them on. And in most instances, a faith journey of trusting him when you don't understand. And then you see the end in mind of all of these, the history in the Bible. And it's like, oh my gosh, Lord, this journey, you didn't waste any part of it.
Absolutely.
You used every single part of it. And same in the new covenant, as we walk out this journey, this way, like Jesus is leading the way for us, trusting him and the pilgrimage of our life and not slowing down, and not that we're not going to run the race and put our hand to things and be intentional and be bold and action, but not trying to rush through seasons, not trying to, God, I just want to get the outcome I want. I just want to get to the end, but trusting him in the in-between and this journey and this pilgrimage with him. I love that song. I think I said it's called Consider Him. It's an upper room song. But just encouraging of, okay, Lord, I'm even needing to take a breath. As I say, like, I can slow down in this journey and trust that you're faithful. What are you showing me? What are you doing? Because if my whole purpose as a disciple is to become more like Jesus, if the way is following Jesus, becoming more like him, I don't want to miss anything you're doing. Because everything you're doing in this season I'm in is to make me more like him and to talk like him, to walk like him, to have perspective the way you do, Lord. And so that, I feel like there's so much more I could say, and I kind of am at a point where I'm like, I need my notes because it gets really nerdy with all the Hebrew and all the, but did that answer it? That's kind of what, because pilgrimage is a random word you don't hear as much, but I love Psalm 84:5. What blessed are those, oh, we have a different guy now.
Well, I can look it up
blessed
for you.
are those whose heart is set on pilgrimage. I want to be set on pilgrimage with the Lord, and just trusting him through the journey and not rushing through it, because I think we miss a lot of things when we are just so set on getting to the end of something. And embracing it and trusting that even though it's not happened yet, God, I thank you that it will. And just learning to walk with him in the journey and not questioning when it doesn't look the way you thought, but instead of questioning the Lord, asking him questions. What are you doing in this season? What do you have for me? What are you showing me? What are you teaching me? And I think that's the idea of pilgrimage and this faith journey of asking rather than questioning the Lord, asking him questions of what are you doing in this? And being confident that he's doing something. He's always, and it's always good. I feel like I hope all of that made sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. Well, and I think that's the cool thing about walking with the Lord is that when you are in the middle of a situation that like you feel is you're not seeing the outcome that you want yet. When you are walking with the Lord, it's like like you said, you're seeing things in the spiritual. It's like, okay, Lord, like I'm in this situation, I should feel bogged down, but instead I'm encouraged because I know.
Have peace? How do I have
how
hope?
am I in this? No, it's crazy because you see things in a different way, and it's like, okay, where everybody else is defeated, you carry the authority, and you're like, okay, I'm joyful, like I'm hopeful. I know what the Lord is doing. I can see it in this situation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like bad things or bad situations, whatever. It's not like it's weighing you down. It's almost elevating you to where it's like, okay, I'm rising above this. Like, this is under my feet, you know? That's scripture. I've tried to look up New King James, but it's blessed and greatly favored is the man whose strength is in you and whose heart are the highways to Zion. I don't think that's your version.
So that's amplified.
Okay.
But it's the same, the highway, the pilgrimage, all it means is a way. You know, the way, in which we know Jesus is the way. And when we are on that, what I love about that verse is that when we're following him, when we're submitted to his way of doing things, his direction, we're going to be strengthened every time, because like, I feel like that's kind of been the theme we've talked about. When I'm doing it his way, I'm not going to grow weary. I'm going to be strengthened. I'm going to have hope in situations where it's like, Lord, this feels hopeless. I don't understand. How is my heart not deferred in this? You know?
Absolutely.
And I think that's what's so amazing is that if we truly believe Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, we know that following him, going his direction, is going to bring truth. He's going to speak truth. We're always going to be led back to truth. It's going to bring life. And that's the beauty of this journey we're on. We're co-laboring with Jesus. we're not in this alone.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, that means we have responsibility. Yes, that means we have to put our hands to things. Yes, that means we have to make decisions. But you can do it in a place of rest, trusting I'm strengthened because I am in the will of God.
Yeah. God
is empowering me to walk boldly, confidently through a situation and maybe feels impossible or feels like, Lord, how is this going to work out? I don't know. And it's been interesting too through this journey. And it's cool because Pastor Bill talked about with his knee surgery, how the Lord's speaking to him about not opening the door to misery.
Yeah.
And I remember one morning, this was actually maybe the same week that the Lord started speaking to me about journey. The Lord gave me this vision of a door of hope and a door of misery because I felt myself teetering.
Wow. Yeah.
And I felt my heart getting deferred. And the Lord was like, brought me back to 1 John, like, there's only light in me. There's no darkness found in me. In the same way that the door of misery and the door of hope cannot coexist together.
Yeah.
So you got to shut one of these doors.
Yeah.
And I mean, in that moment, something broke off of me of like, Lord, I'm shutting the door to misery.
Yeah.
Here's the situation. Here's the circumstance. Thank you that I'm full of hope. I'm strengthened by you and I'm going your way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, the straight path, I'm not going to steer from the left to the right. I'm going your direction. There's only one direction. It's Jesus.
Yeah.
And so when we follow that one direction, there's going to be hope. There's going to be joy in situations that are hard. And not that we don't have days where it's like, Lord, I feel I feel sucky today, you know, meet me here.
Yeah.
And he always does.
Yeah.
And so that was a big revelation too of there's one way. There is one way. That doesn't mean we're not going to struggle. That doesn't mean that we're going to be perfect every day.
Yeah.
But that does mean, okay, I know the way to go and I'm going to keep walking this journey out with you, Lord. And I know that it's going to bring hope. It's going to bring joy. And the moment I feel myself maybe drifting, I got to realign, reassess. Okay, Lord, what's going on? Forgive me if I have tried to start doing things in my own strength or go my own way or do it how I think it should be done. It's a journey.
I love it.
But I'm excited to see the Lord as we continue to walk out this season, just more revelation.
Yeah.
Because what's cool about it is, yes, the Lord gives us revelation, but like we've been talking about, there's fruit for others. So Lord, and I think there is some revelation that's meant just for you.
Yes.
But I do think a lot of times in the right time, the Lord will ask us to share and encourage with that revelation that he's given us. And so that's what's really cool is the Lord is all about community and using his people. And it's been a season, but it's been good.
Yeah. Well, I'm so thankful that you came on. You're so wise.
Oh.
You are.
Thank you.
You are. You really are. I don't know if you look at yourself that way, but you seriously are wise. Every time you speak, every time you're on stage, no matter what, I have my notebook open, I have my pen ready because you're about to bring a word. No, I mean it. I really mean it.
Thank you.
You seriously have a gift, and I look up to you in such a way of you are eager to follow the Lord. You're just hungry. That is, if I could describe you in one way, it's hungry. That's how I feel you are. You were always seeking the Lord, and it really is inspiring. So,
well, thank you for
coming on.
Me, and thank you for
of course
working through my fear of cameras and microphones.
No, I love it. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
We good?
Same.
Perfect.